Hello everybody, it's me, Corbin, and today I wanted to show you guys this video about Mike Matei. And I know this is an old controversy, so bringing this up is stupid, but like this was something that happened a while ago. But it just bugs me the way people overreact about this, so I wanted to do a video just talking about this video and why I don't like this video. So I'll just begin it. Well, this guy looks like an epic gamer.
Who is Mike Matei? Well, Mike is an executive producer at Cinemassacre Productions, where he works closely with James Rolfe on the beloved hit web series The Angry Video Game Nerd, amongst other projects. Mike co-stars along with Rolfe in the weekly Let's Play series James and Mike Mondays. According to
I love James and Mike Mondays.
Mike, he's the one owed the credit for the success of The Angry Video Game Nerd. He's repeated this claim in several interviews, including this AMA on Reddit. Now that we know who Mike is,
I personally do think Mike Matei exaggerates how important he is to AVGN, but he is still a pretty important part of it.
The context for his horrific racism and sexually inappropriate behavior is established. The question remaining is what to talk about first, his horrific racism or his sexually inappropriate behavior. Well, I flipped a coin and inappropriate sexual behavior won out. Not that there's really any winning to be had when those are two of your biggest personality traits. But before we can talk about either of those things, some further context needs to be established. This is where I come into the story. As Zadok Payette, I am a moderator on several retro gaming subreddits on Reddit, including r Retro Gaming. A subreddit is a community of people on Reddit who have like interests and gather to discuss them. In 2015, I joined the official Cinemassacre subreddit, r The Cinemassacre, which was, and still is, moderated by Mike himself. The subreddit was a bastion of spam and a monument to crappy design. I and some others, including mods from the fan-run RAVGN subreddit, came in and redesigned the sub, killed the spam, and grew the community to over 10,000 subscribers. A popular meme regarding Mike got posted to the subreddit a lot. It's a meme regarding the size of Mike's penis. Go ahead and Google Mike Matei has a big dick if you don't believe me. Here are some pics that will come up. As you can see, these are just silly internet jokes. This long-running internet meme was even embraced by Mike. Although he has now deleted all mentions of his penis that he's made on both his and the official Cinemassacre social media channels, some screen caps survive. Further, deleting a comment on Tumblr doesn't delete it when people have reblogged it. So several examples are surviving on MikeMatei'sHugePenis.tumblr.com. According to Mike, this meme somehow offended or annoyed him, although we can clearly see that he bragged about his penis in public using official Cinemassacre social media.
Now this part I actually do agree with. I think Mike Matei was a hypocrite about this, and overall a huge wuss. That's not what I'm upset about this video for. Later on, this guy says stuff that upsets me. But this, don't really have a problem with. I agree. Mike Matei, huge hypocrite and wuss. At the time. I don't think as a person in general, he's a hypocrite and a wuss. Honestly, I think Mike Matei is a pretty cool guy, but just about this subject.
His supposed embarrassment or annoyance by the jokes prompted him to do something that is, well, just a little deranged. That's when, in May 2017, Mike posted his erect penis to the Cinemassacre subreddit and tweeted it.
I think it's weird that he considers nudity in itself to be inappropriate sexual behavior, and also calls it stuff like horrific and disturbed and stuff like that is everybody's got one, man. Everybody has seen one. I don't know how horrific, disturbed, and how inappropriate it is. I think it's weird that we live in a culture that does think stuff like that is so inappropriate. It's really not a big deal.
Out via the official Sin Massacre Productions Twitter account. The pic included a tape measure and a claim that his size was 10 inches. I'm not going to show it, not even a censored version, nor do I encourage anyone to search the internet to find it for themselves. Don't do that. Please just don't.
Why?
These posts went out to everyone who followed those two social media outlets, neither of which are 18 and over. In short, he undoubtedly exposed himself to minors as well as reasonable adults.
To be fair, where he says releases to minors, I mean, do you watch AVGN? I wouldn't call it child appropriate or for kids. And not only do I not consider that for kids, but I don't think kids should really be on Reddit, of all things. I wouldn't consider Reddit's like worse than like Facebook and Instagram, stuff like that. I think Reddit isn't like Reddit. Most things I go on Reddit are way more inappropriate than what you see on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I really don't really get, like, if a kid sees this, I don't really care. Because, I mean, like, what kid hasn't looked up this stuff on their own, man? These kids are going off seeing it anywhere else. Really doesn't mean anything to me. I think it's stupid to put a picture like that of yourself on the internet. It is stupid, but I wouldn't go around saying it's horrific, messed up, morally wrong, and inappropriate. I just think it's a dumb thing to do. And yeah, it is kind of gross, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. That was Mike Matei's dumb thing he did. I don't think there's anything morally wrong with it, though.
Adults who have no interest in seeing this man's dick. Mike explained that he was sick of the emails and comments he received about his dick, which is weird because, like, a meme about having a big dick isn't exactly something to be ashamed of. Let go no! I'm known on the internet for having a large penis, said no one ever. Well, even more weird than that, however, is how Mike went about posting the now infamous dick pic and his response to it.
I thought everyone
Mike did at some point realize his actions were not made in good judgment and deleted the post. However, this may not have been a moral epiphany, but rather a response to being called out for some juvenile camera trickery. You see, it was fairly obvious that in the photo, Mike actually held his penis above the tape measure to make it seem like it was 10 inches, a claim that Mike had made several times on social media beforehand, as I've already shown. To illustrate this, here's an imaginative recreation that was posted to our AVGN. Following Mike's dick pic incident, his photo was often posted and reposted to the Sin Massacre subreddit, which meant that mods had to see it over and over and over.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can really...
and over again. One of our mods...
To be fair about that, too, I don't really know... I wouldn't say it was proven that he faked it. It was proven that he could have faked it. And I don't know why I'm even talking about this. This is a weird thing to talk about. I'm just going to continue the video.
Moderators, who I feel like it's worth mentioning, he was under 18 years old, leaked the contents of the private mod mail to a subreddit called the Sin Massacre Truth, which was created to discuss banned topics on the official subreddit. Not only Mike's penis, but the Inspector Gadget Minecraft video, the departure of Bootsy, and many other topics that Mike was notorious for removing and banning any user at the mere mention of them.
That is another thing that I don't like about Mike Matei. That is something I agree with you on there.
The mod mill leak was a tipping point for Mike. I and every other moderator woke up to find ourselves having been removed from the subreddit. This changed what had once been a quiet, little-known scandal to something that received prominent attention on Reddit, which is the world's second largest social media website after Facebook, seventh largest website in the world, and fourth overall in the United States. Mike was about to get a first-hand hard lesson in what is known as the Streisand effect. By trying to cover up his sexually inappropriate behavior, what Mike really did was slingshot it into being a popular topic on Reddit, with numerous threads being made about it in subreddits like Out of the Loop, Drama, and Subreddit Drama. Making matters worse is the fact that Mike himself came into the threads under what is called an alt account. This is the practice of using an account other than your main account. In this case, Mike used it to defend himself. How do we know this? Because Mike used an alias that had been his online handle for years, Elvis8Atari. He was even shown to have had a history of using it to talk about himself in the third person and to use it to attack other YouTube personalities. This is also how the horrific racism of Mike Matei gets to be a part of this lovely story. You see, Mike's shenanigans prompted users to see what else he was associated with. That's when his website, where he published Loco Bandito quote cartoons, was discovered on archive.org. That's cartoons with totally necessary quotation marks because cartoons are supposed to be funny. What Mike created is not funny. It's something that looks like it was commissioned for Stormfront.org, the infamous white nationalist, white supremacist, anti-Semitic, KKK/neo-Nazi internet forum. There's nothing funny about racist propaganda, and that is what Mike created. I'm not going to even read these out loud, but you can look at them and judge for yourself. There is no attempt at humor in several of these. This is racism for the point of being racist. There is simply no way that any reasonable person can look at these and conclude that the artist and author who is responsible for them is anything other than an unapologetic, bigoted racist.
Ha! I don't know why I said it like that, but what I'm gonna say, why is it racist, though? I mean, yeah, he's depicting them in a racist way, but it's clearly a joke. It's a cartoon. He didn't say himself anything bad about any race. He didn't say that any race was lesser. He made a cartoon that had jokes. Telling racist jokes doesn't make you a racist unless you actually believe the joke. And usually the point of a joke is that it's so outlandish that it's funny. The racism is supposed to be laughed at because it's racist, not because you believe in the racism. It's just that racism itself is kind of funny. That's it. I don't really get why you would attack somebody just for saying for making race jokes. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I don't like censorship, and I consider you a censor. And it's weird you would get mad at Mike Matei for censoring people when you want to censor Mike Matei. I don't get it.
Speaking of being apologetic, after his sexually inappropriate behavior achieved notoriety on Reddit, after his alt account was exposed, after his dementedly racist comics were unearthed, after all that, Mike did apologize. Here is that apology. Do you see what's missing here? That's right. He does not apologize for publicly exposing himself. Oh yeah.
Why would he? He didn't hurt anybody. Who's he gonna say sorry to? Who did he offend? Who did he hurt? Who are the people that were disgusted by his picture? There's literally no victim, so he doesn't need to say sorry for that.
And he also doesn't apologize for being a racist.
Well, because he's not a racist.
Mike
you don't need to apologize
apologizes only for
racism that
abusing
you
his
didn't commit.
mod powers on a small subreddit by issuing petty bans for people merely mentioning the existence of some of his past shitty work. I decided to make this
Yeah, that's all he needed to say sorry for. All he needed to say sorry for was the fact that he banned people and he was being a dictator on the thing. Yeah, that's all he needed to apologize for, and he apologized for it because that was the only thing he did wrong. He apologized for what he did wrong. All he needed to do. And you expect him to do extra.
video because we're now living in the age of the Weinstein effect, which Mike Matei has thus far escaped. We are also living in a time where propagators of hate speech are emboldened, whereas once it seemed that hate was firmly being left behind in America's past, has recently enjoyed a resurgence.
Oh, you're one of these people. What do you mean? I'd argue, if anything, most people today are way, way to the opposite direction, where we defend people who probably don't even deserve to be defended. We live in a time where we live in the time of PC culture and SJW culture, cancel culture. So I don't get what you mean. We're at a time of horrible racism and hatred and all this stuff. What are you talking about? We're at the opposite time.
Mike Matei is apologetic for neither his sexually inappropriate behavior nor
And
his
of course, the
demented
people you depict are Trump and people waving Confederate flags, the stereotypical people that everybody thinks of, that small group of people. There are not even that many of these people. If you live anywhere other than like a redneck state, that's not really going to be a problem for you. I don't know why these people exaggerate. Whatever. I don't know why this is even... Why are you even bringing this up in a Mike Matei video? That's all for the video. I'm not even going to finish watching it because this is just stupid. He's not even talking about Mike Matei anymore. But that's my problem. Oh, look, Loco Bandito, the man in the flesh, he commented.